we just finished Castlevania, the Netflix series, episode 4. That was the best one for me.
Episode 4. Floating vampire Jesus.
Trevor writes this himself. I'm telling you,
he does. He's just like, we don't even need to come up with the subtitles. He comes up with better ones.
He's great. this was an intense episode for characterization, faithfulness to the games.
Faithfulness to the games, just straight up
action. My God.
And actually atmosphere too.
Yeah.
This was really just a fucking great conclusion to this. A good cap off to everything that's been going on in this first season.
I felt both satisfied with what we saw and eager for the second season.
I mean, a lot of good happens here. Things start just coming to a head, right? And we have I don't even know where to start.
I guess we'll have to start with the way the episode goes. So the bishop finally gets what's coming to him at long last, and we thought it was death.
Fucking scene. We're sitting there, and the bishop's in the church. He's hearing all this commotion going outside. He thinks they're killing the speakers. Meanwhile, he's just chilling in my church, and then the doors open, and all the light starts leaving, and he hears this otherworldly voice, and we just turn to each other oh my God, it's fucking death. It's
what a wonderful entrance.
And it's not. But at the same time, it's like a werewolf demon thing.
But it's nice to see the bishop drown in his sins, for lack of a better word.
Get what he has
while he's talking to this demon, more demons are coming in behind him. So it reminded me of the end of The Lion King, where your lies are gonna come and beat the shit out of you because they're all just swarming.
Oh my God! And I just like this thing. Again, it's this series doesn't do too heavily with all the big Castlevania monsters, but the way the Cyclops was designed, it's okay, that's okay, it's not
roll with it. I missed the hammer,
but at the same time, it matches the tone of the series.
It does.
And it's we're sitting there, and this thing comes stalking up, and it's well, the closest equivalent is it's got to be a werewolf. But it's it's got its rib cage exposed,
spikes coming out of
his
it,
back, multiple blue eyes. But it's just this thing comes stalking up. And it starts speaking to the bishop, just no.
Yeah, mocking his faith, mocking his lies. It's
mocking
beautiful.
the faith. It's no, this is.
It's how a demon would talk.
This is all on you.
It's how the demons were described in the Bible and just all throughout. So the way he comes off with this arrogance of lying in a church. I'm just this is great.
Oh my God, so good, and he just
he's shaking as he holds on to the cross.
Yeah, the bishop is freaking out, and he's just God doesn't love you. But we do. Let me give you a kiss. And then he straight up eats them. And I'm just yes, kill that son of a bitch. Kill him.
And you're rooting for him, but then you realize they're still the bad guys, and they're going to lay waste to the rest of the villagers. Which at that point, Trevor gets saved by Sypha.
Yeah, Sypha shows up, and like we were talking about, it's here's the characterization. Now here's what they can do.
Yeah.
And now we see Sypha raise some magic up.
It's a perfect way to portray characters and give action. Have your cake and eat it too. And I don't see it often. Usually you see too much action, not enough character. Marvel movies. Too much character, not enough action. DC movies. Now, that being said, the way this works is a nice structure.
It's a very, very and just
and they did
the
both
way
with Alucard.
The way
we'll get to shortly.
We'll get to that in a minute. But just the way it builds up to this confrontation in the town square. So Trevor's there, and he calls out the one from earlier that he got the finger off earlier. And he just he calls him out on everything in front of the entire crowd of villagers, just
and you think they're about to throw down,
but then it's no, the villagers step up and straight up kill this guy, because it's no, he's absolutely right. These guys and the bishop are the whole reason why they're in so much trouble right now, and how they're basically losing their innocence and whatnot is because of these guys.
They're losing their children and all that stuff, yeah.
So,
because of these schmucks, and they get what's coming to them.
They get what's coming to them. And, at that moment, suddenly, all the demons show up.
Yeah.
And they start running.
Trevor takes charge as a leader.
I'm
that's interesting. That's very nice.
It's just, you see exactly what it was his family was, trained to do.
Yeah.
And like the way he rallies everyone and rallies the town, and how he's able to like give commands and work together, and like the way he plays off of Sypha in the scene with,
and she's like, for God's sakes, is there an actual priest in this town?
Oh my God, that was the funniest thing. It's just like, is there one actual priest, you know, ordained in a church? It's even like how he says it too. It's just like, I need a priest ordained in a church.
Just like, what can you give me out of this godforsaken town?
One guy steps forward. It's like the one actual priest in town. So, me? It's like, go get some holy water. But he rallies the whole town, and the demons come up, and they all work together to fight.
Yeah, it's not just Trevor hogging the show. Yeah. He does his bit, the villagers do there, and Sypha's backing his ass up.
And it's just like, this is what I've been waiting for this whole time. Is like this, like everything.
The payoff.
The real big payoff. Like, and like even the way like Sypha's magic works, and the way that they're able to incorporate it with like some Castlevania tropes, like the holy water, like Trevor's throwing the holy water up. Well, Sypha's got the freeze abilities. Fuck it, she's gonna freeze the holy water. Yeah. Like, it's great. It's fantastic. And like we finally, like, now Trevor is actually going to use the whip on a demon.
Yeah.
So, which we haven't seen the whole time, and they straight up explode.
Yeah.
Like, and we're just sitting here, we're like, fuck!
That's what would happen.
This is what we've been waiting for. Like, this is just great.
He just kind of like has a throw. Like, yeah, it's kind of like a chance. It works really well on demons and stuff like that.
It's like, yeah, you know, it's
like, oh yeah, it's super effective on demons, by the way.
It's super effective.
It's super effective. And then they get separated from the rest of the village, so I guess they're on their own.
Yeah,
hopefully
it's like
they
the village
is
on their own. Either we're going to see the culmination of that, or because, you know, Trevor's, you know, got enough into them. You know, I don't think it was a whole army. I just think it was a small horde.
So do I. I think they took care of the big guy, which was the
they took care of the werewolf. And so I think,
like, I don't think he was referring to there's more. Right, he's just saying there's more that'll be coming. So yeah, kill me, big whoop.
Yeah, I think
we come from hell. It's endless.
I think it's more of like more will be on their way, but like they collapse into the catacombs, and it feels like the clock tower level.
Yes, it does.
Castlevania.
They ride the gears, they swing off their beams,
swinging and everything, and it's just like it starts building up.
It builds the atmosphere.
This last episode, even though it's so action heavy, really finds time still to build atmosphere on things, like, you know.
Well, it was nice how, like, at that moment of like adrenaline going, it took the perfect way to like take a step back,
and then build up
and relax for the climax.
Yeah, and even like before, like with the scene with the bishop, that building up right there too was for like, you know, what's coming too. Like, we gotta. Yeah. It's like they find a way to like still build up like the tension and the atmosphere. You know. Which leads us to the last
They got rid of him right away, which I think was perfect for the bishop.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the way the episode was going. It's just like, that scene has to happen beforehand, because you don't want to break it up once they're in the catacombs. You want to stay with them to the catacombs.
Once they get into the catacombs, you know, they start building up, like, because they got to traverse through, and they keep falling, and things keep collapsing, and it's all building up until they come to this well-lit room with a single coffin. And we get introduced to our floating vampire Jesus, who's apparently the sleeping warrior that Sypha's been talking about for 3 friggin' episodes. And out pops Alucard.
And Trevor believes that could very well be Dracula.
It could very well be Dracula, but even if not, it's still a vampire. Now, we as Castlevania fans, we know who Alucard is and what his standpoint on. But if you're just a normal audience member, you don't necessarily know that. You could have forgotten that, like, we kind of saw him in that first episode. A little confrontation between him and Dracula.
As someone who's not a Castlevania fan, that doesn't necessarily mean he's for humans. He just disagrees with his dad.
So here we are, and we're sitting here, and they're still ramping up the tension because it's so obvious that he and Trevor, Alucard and Trevor, are about to fight.
Yeah.
And they still build up the tension and like the atmosphere of all them going back and forth, like.
And I like how Alucard's like not going to give information until he gets information himself. So he's dropping little hints on like, what can you tell me, so I know like what the situation is. Like, they ask him, he asks questions, they answer him about it's only been a year, and it's like, so I'm assuming, well, this ain't no savior because it's only been a year. And then Alucard's just like, all right, well, do you care? And then he tries to bypass it. He's like, no, answer my question. Do you actually care?
And of course, that's where it's like,
like
Trevor
testing Trevor's
Trevor
worth as
has
well.
finally come to this moment where it's just like now he's ready to actually go take on Dracula. Now he's ready to stand up for everybody finally. Like he is the Trevor Belmont from the games now.
The one from the games.
Rather than
evolves into that throughout the season, which is very
rather
nice.
than the drunken, bitter Trevor from episode 1. Like now he's at that point. And
all he did in episode 1 was say shit.
Shit.
Episode 2, yeah,
and
the
go
drunken
fucking shit. So like this whole thing comes to a head, and it all just releases in this spectacular fight. I mean, it's spectacular. Like, again, I was saying this, like, I can't even remember what the fuck the line is, but he basically, like, Alucard makes, like, this jest towards Trevor, like, are you really ready for this, or are you just, like, playing dress up with a whip? And the sword comes flying through his hair, and he grabs into his hand, and I'm just like, oh my god, it is on.
Yeah.
And this spectacular,
beautiful fight between two characters that are, just have a dispute, and you can feel the tension, you feel the purpose of the battle.
He's so obviously like, this is a test, but I'm not holding back, and like Alucard's going hard, like he's teleporting around the room. I'm like, oh my god, this
wants
is
to
exactly...
make sure that this is the guy that's going to kill Dracula.
This is exactly what this would look like. This is exactly what this would look like if this game was, you know,
modern.
Yeah,
if they like remade this game.
And like just the way he teleports around the room, the way he moves, how graceful he is, and like Trevor swinging the whip, and it's boom, it's bashing Alucard, and he's flying through shit in the room because of fucking boom, it's the vampire killer. Yeah, like this was like, I know it was like, this is what I was waiting for. This is what, no, this really was what I was waiting for.
What you were waiting for, this was the payoff we wanted.
This has been the payoff as a Castlevania.
One of the biggest things next to the final battle that Dracula's Curse is known for is fighting Alucard. It's one of the things that you can interpret into a story. Everything else is very much game.
They interpreted this so well. The characters have been so
before we forget about this, let's just say how spot on they were with all the characters.
All the voice acting in this is
from Sypha to Trevor to Alucard, they nailed all those characters. And it could have been very easily to botch one of them up.
To botch it so bad.
I'm just like, they got Trevor, good. They got Sypha, fuck, they got Alucard, we're good.
It's like, my god, they got Dracula too? Like,
they got Dracula too.
Every character out of the game, they got so spot on with the voice actor and the way the actors portray them. They are all well written, well performed. Like, everything was so spot on. And just to see all of this blossom into this great conclusion, where at the end of it all, it's just like, you know...
well, like, even Sypha's inclusion at the very end, like, it's like, well, this man saved my life,
yeah,
so
it's like,
if push comes to shove, I will fight you too.
Yeah, like, it's
I'm
like...
not just gonna sit back and watch you kill him.
And it's just like this great moment. It's just like, good. Now, I was 1, now we are 3, we're gonna be able to stop my father.
Yeah,
because
great.
We know, even though like he's grieving, Dracula is still indiscriminately killing.
Yes, he is,
and he needs to be stopped.
Yes, he does, because he's not stopping. Like the demon said, they're just gonna keep coming.
So, it just brilliant conclusion to the first season of Castlevania.
The only thing I could say is the flaw, and we touched on this, and I just want to say this now, is the music. They dropped the ball when it comes to the music.
They really dropped the ball on the soundtrack.
The animation top-notch, the writing, the characterization.
All more atmospheric.
They could have had a lot... Even Lords of Shadow felt more Castlevania.
Shadow had some, like, really good, like, boom,
like they
tunes in it.
The composer of Lords of Shadow said, I went back and listened to Castlevania 4 soundtrack, and that's how I got my inspiration. He remixed the Waterfalls theme from Castlevania 4 and made a new piece out of that.
Now, I'm not saying we needed, like, soft... Like, actually, the Waterfalls theme, I actually really, like... I applaud that because he turned that piece into a real good atmospheric piece.
Yes, he did.
For Lords of Shadow. So, do we really need, like, remixes of classic Dracula's Curse themes?
Not necessarily, but you could have some notes and, like, some familiar melodies here and there.
Like, it needed something, because it is, like, the one thing, as a Castlevania fan, that's a little disappointing, is that the soundtrack is a little meh. But everything else, from the presentation, to the writing, to the acting, everything else is spot on. Really well done.
Okay.
And And I know we come from a standpoint of Castlevania fans.
Yes.
But even after
we have quite a history with this
we
series.
have a storied history.
I grew up with this baby.
And I mean, but after 4 episodes, 2 hours of watching, it's like I can safely say just this is a series.
I never thought I'd get something like this, honestly. Especially for Castlevania. I was always just grasping at straws like, well, Van Helsing, I guess, will work. Oh, Solomon Kane, I'll take that, too.
I'll take that.
Dracula Untold, why not?
I enjoyed it, but it's just like none of them.
I enjoyed them, but they don't compare to this, because this felt like Castlevania. It lived up to the name. So it's not just something weird that has the name on it. It feels like Castlevania every step of the way.
This is definitely for fans. But this is also definitely for general.
I think this is like really good, like not just for video game adaptations, but just for entertainment. I think this is one of the better things I've seen in a while.
Very, very
characters, story. Like I really hope other people are loving this right now, because I have not looked at a single review or how this thing's being received. I hope it's doing well, because I hate to be the sitting duck on this one, but I love this.
I love this too. And
now with season 2...
I think you'll love it too. I think you will. And I think the most exciting thing about it is season 2 has already been renewed. And the thing that's got me excited is I was reading that instead of 4 episodes, which the original idea is, it's going to be an 8-episode season 2. So I think we're going to see a bit more.